So I have a book to recommend for anyone that's looking for something else to read, especially with interest in any of these areas. The book is by Manly Palmer Hall, called The Guru. It's something I haven't read for a long time, many years, but I have read it and enjoyed it. So I wanted to share this for a while, and certainly many months, maybe longer. And that's just a short excerpt. The book is, I think, from it's like 53 or something, maybe 58. People are familiar with Manly Hall from the Secret Teachings of All Ages. That's his most popular work and magnum opus, written when he was just a young man. It's quite worth looking at, especially even for the sake of the beautiful artwork by Augustus Knapp, who also did a tarot deck, as I remember, illustrated a Manly, the Hall Knapp tarot, maybe. I don't know what it's called, but that's the one that I have mostly for study's sake. Manly Hall wrote an excellent essay on the tarot to go with that, which is very much sort of a philosophical exploration in terms of the mystery teachings, and doesn't tell you how to do a bunch of readings, as far as I know. It explains the cards and a deeper, side of the tarot that a lot of people just don't know. But this book is it's not a very long book, short, sweet, to the point. And the chapter I'm going to share is Chapter 8. I would point out, just for the heck of it, that I have a video I recorded about 2 weeks ago on October the 21st. And if you place that in terms of your social and media events timeline, just for posterity, I've got this video, got it time-stamped, and I was going to share it, and then I added like 2 hours of editorial after I read this brief chapter, and I decided, maybe I'll edit that. And then some interesting things happened, and I've decided I'll just re-record the chapter. It's kind of short, but I think it's pertinent. And of course, I believe these things, or I wouldn't bother. This is not a work of fiction, and it's not a creative writing assignment. This is something that I knew was true and real the moment that I read it, and still do. So we'll see what it means to you. All right. So the Guru spent several weeks in Calcutta during the summer of my third year at the university. I saw him at once, for he was desirous of learning the effects of my scientific training on my religious life and convictions. I reported faithfully upon the progress I had made in my studies, assuring the Guru that I always performed my devotion upon rising, and prayed to the Great Mother that she would give to me the understanding of those things which I was learning. At the beginning of each class, I invoked the blessing of the Supreme One upon my professor and my classmates. The Guru listened gravely and nodded his approval. "It is good, Nadu, my son in God, for all knowledge is the gift of the Spirit, and only to those who are grateful in the Spirit will knowledge unfold itself, like the petals of the lotus. From your Western teachers, Nadu, you will learn of art and sciences, but from your Eastern masters you must discover the inner mystery of wisdom. You are not educated when merely you are well schooled. You are truly educated only when you are enlightened by inner truth. For inner truth takes dead facts and makes them live, and inspires the heart to the use of knowledge for the service of others. I knew this in my heart and was very silent, and in my stillness I could feel the thought of my master singing in my mind like the ancient hymns of the Vedas. Suddenly, in my reverie, the master spoke again. Look, Nadu." As I looked at the Guru, I saw that he was holding something in his hands. He spread his fingers a little, and I saw a small red squirrel peering out from between the Guru's fingers. The squirrel was entirely without fear, and running out between the open hands of the saint, it played about his arms, hid itself in his long hair, and finally perched on his shoulder with its small face against the side of his beard. The Guru stroked the little animal, saying, "And now, Nadu, my son, I will show you a mystery. In your university, you have studied this little animal. Is that not so? Yes, beloved master. I have learned all that the English books can tell me. Would you like me to describe the parts of the squirrel and all that is known about it? No, my son. I will ask you but one question. Why is the squirrel? I was silent, for I knew that I could not answer, and the Guru continued. Knowledge, my son, is to know the names of all the members and structure of this little squirrel, but wisdom is to discover the life of this little animal in the midst of all its parts and members. For this reason, Nadu, you must come back in the end to the masters of the White Mountains. For only through the ancient arts that were taught to the first saints can you come to know the little heart that flutters in a tiny red squirrel. All the great and all the learned are without this knowledge until they go out into the mountains and learn from the voice of the mother. Excuse me. Had I before this been inclined to accept the white man's way of learning, the words of my master would forever have dispelled the illusion. Sorry, it's like the third video I've tried to record today. The Guru continued, watch me, Nadu, and watch the little red squirrel. The Guru reached to his shoulder and gently picked up the little animal, stroking its back and its long fluffy tail. Then, holding the squirrel between his hands, he breathed upon it and whispered several words in the ancient language of the Shinjar, which I could not understand. Suddenly the squirrel changed before my eyes into a small brown bird with a red breast and a yellow beak. The bird fluttered for an instant and then perched on the Guru's finger, singing a soft, clear song. The master looked at me. Does this seem a miracle, Nadu, that I have changed a red squirrel to a small brown bird? It is no miracle. It is because I whispered words of power, and a little whirling wheel in the heart of the squirrel whirled more rapidly. And by this very whirling, the squirrel was changed into a bird. This, my son, is the secret of breath and of yoga. It is the same when you go to school. Your learning shall be like the squirrel, but by the secret of breath and yoga, you shall give wings to your learning, and then the things you have gathered out of books shall become alive and shall sing the song of our mother. I remained for 5 years in the university and received my diploma and became a physician, according to the will of the blessed Guru. Though I learned much that was to be of service to my people from the white man's school, I learned most from my Guru on that day when he made a little brown bird out of a red squirrel. Namaskar.